Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to join our today's discussion, which is a part of Athens Energy Dialogues, even in a virtual way, due to the health situation. The issue we are going to elaborate is the relations with Turkey, which we are going to discuss with our distinguished guest, His Excellency, Ambassador of Turkey, Burak Özügergin. Your Excellency, Ambassador, it is a great honor to be with us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We haven't got many time. Just we have 15 minutes, as I know. So I would like to start in a fast way. Recently, it's more than obvious that Turkey focuses on becoming the base of pipelines that send gas to southeastern Europe. For example, Turkstream, TANAP. We have these pipelines. Can we say that Turkey's strategic vision is to become an energy node? For example, Ukraine of South, for example.
Well, there's nothing wrong with any country trying to secure a place for itself on the energy map. You know how they say for real estate, location is everything. Same goes for energy. Whether you're a producer, consumer, or a transit country, or any combination of these, your location matters. And it so happens that we, as Turkey, sit at the crossroads between major energy producers and consumer markets. 70% of proven gas and oil reserves lie towards our east, while 50% of global consumption happens in our near west. On top of that, we ourselves, as you know, are quite a large energy market in the region. Our population is about to hit 85 million, and we have the highest energy demand increase among OECD countries for the last 2 decades. If you check the numbers, our industrial output change for the month of December 2020, a couple of months ago, was the highest among G20 countries. So you do the math. Ours is not abnormal or hostile behavior, and it is not any different from what anyone else's country participating in this conference is trying to do. But the good news is that what's good for us is also good for the EU, for the Balkans, and for Europe in general. Because while we're diversifying our energy resources and routes, we are also contributing to the energy supply security of the rest of Europe, because we offer short, economical, secure, and sustainable routes for the resources of our energy-rich neighborhood. Take the Southern Gas Corridor, for example. It's now working. Turkey and Greece have already established a successful partnership in the corridor through, as you say, TANAP and TAP, to bring Azeri gas to Southern Europe.
So, can we say? I mean, Turkey is a country considered to use a lot of energy, as you mentioned. So, is it likely to be located close to the gas fields? Maybe. I mean, in this light, what's your point of view on the fact that there are large gas deposits in Southeast Mediterranean, Cyprus, Israel, Egypt? We have these gas fields. So, is it an opportunity? I'm asking because, as you know better than me, in 2020, dangerous tensions, especially between Greece and Turkey, have taken place. Are they a field of conflict instead of field of cooperation?
Well, we like where we are. We like our location. That's for sure. Energy could be and should be an area of cooperation rather than conflict. Gas and oil have in fact been catalysts for change in geopolitics. Remember that the first version of the EU was based on coal and steel. But then again, energy is not just about barrels or kilowatts or cubic meters. When energy projects pull nations together, that's great. But the opposite can also be true. What social scientists call fear of missing out really kicks in when countries feel wronged or left out. The controversy about the deposits around the island of Cyprus is a case in point. So far, the offshore reserves really have not brought much joy to anyone. On the surface, the tension may look like a competition for natural resources, but it's not that simple. The Cyprus issue itself remains unresolved. Greek Cypriots repeatedly and without much cost so far rejected all kinds of proposals, plans, initiatives throughout decades of efforts. And since there is no settlement, some parts of relevant maritime zones are not limited as far as international law is concerned. Therefore, the Greek Cypriot side should cease and desist their unilateral quest to exploit the resources around the island, because this violates the rights of both Turkey and the Turkish Cypriots, whether it's EEZ claims, licensing rounds, drillings, export arrangements, you name it. That's not the way to go. Either we solve the Cyprus problem altogether, once and for all, or all relevant players, obviously including the Turkish Cypriots, cooperate in energy matters on a parallel track until that happens. You cannot have your cake and eat it.
Yes, but as you mentioned about the Cyprus issue, the president of Turkey made clear that Ankara does not seek on federal solution, confederal solution, but a two-state solution. Turkey has changed its position. Is Turkey against UN resolutions? Is Turkey against EU positions? On the other hand, Mr. Çavuşoğlu mentioned that almost half of the issues that are related to the ISMED could be solved in case there is a solution on the issue of sharing the income from gas. What Ankara says on that at the moment? I'm referring to that since it seems that there is a change in comparison to Annan Plan and Crown Montana.
Look, Turkey and the Turkish Cypriots actively participated in negotiations in order to find a comprehensive solution in Cyprus for decades, since the 1960s. The first man, Mr. Kostidis, hadn't landed on the moon yet when we started tackling the problems of Cyprus. I had the personal honor to be present in some of the later rounds, and it is my frank observation that the negotiations failed not because of a lack of reasonable ideas or a lack of competent people to present those ideas or a lack of good people to work on those ideas. The negotiations failed because of a lack of political will. Now, I'll not name names. You can check some of my other interviews for that. So, the federal ship has sailed, but all is not lost. We still believe any solution on the island, whatever it looks like, should be achieved through negotiations. We will be there at the next meeting to be convened by the Secretary General, what they call 5+1, with realistic, but above all, win-win proposals. You mentioned Security Council. Well, remember, the bicommunal, BBF, what they call, bizonal bicommunal federal solution, existed all these years, not because a group of learned individuals sitting in a chamber in New York wished it so, but because this reflected the will of the two peoples on the island during a certain period. Now, after several decades of failure to devise and implement such a model, it is obvious to me, at least, that such common ground does not exist, simply does not exist. I therefore question the wisdom of insisting on putting a straitjacket on reality. In other words, any solution should take into consideration the realities on the island, and it should not try to bend reality to fit into that solution. Well, as I mentioned, hydrocarbons could have acted as a contributor to the overall solution, at least to building trust between the two communities. The whole situation got even more complicated as a result of the unilateral moves by Greek Cypriots. And with all due respect, I've been listening to some of the debate earlier. Through initiatives such as the 3+1 groupings and projects like the East Med pipeline. Stuff of legends, that last one, by the way. So,
we have 1 minute, as they mentioned, so I would like to ask the next question. Ambassador, it's been a long time since I want to ask this question. Do you believe that the relations with Greece can move a step forward? Because the issue of shelf still exists, as well as exploratory talks. On the other hand, Turkish officials raise issues such as the demilitarization of islands and express their annoyance at the visit of Greek officials to Greek islands near Turkey. From which part should we start the amelioration of our relations?
well, it's the nature of diplomats to be optimistic. We can improve our relations, and we should, because we're neighbors and allies, even though it may not look or sound like that lately. But I'm confident that all the bother will pass at one point. After all, there have been positive periods in our relations in the past, and there's no reason why we cannot achieve such an atmosphere again. Even before the dust settles on the pandemic, we will need to confront the long-term economic and social effects of the virus. So to me, it makes much more sense to face the virus and the economic difficulties instead of facing each other. By the way, the framework of our relations is not confined to just exploratory talks. We have several channels: political consultations, confidence-building measures, deconflicting consultations in NATO, high-level cooperation councils, etc., etc. Some of the tracks are already working, and the rest will hopefully be reactivated sooner than later. We have a robust body of international law to guide us. All we have to do is be patient, understanding, and especially honest. The rest will follow.
Last question, just for 30 seconds. If I would like to conclude with kinds of a more personal question. How has been your experience as a Turkish ambassador in Greece during a crucial year as 2020, where the relations between Greece and Turkey got tested at multiple levels?
Well, listen, I'm not afraid to say it. I love it here. As for being Turkish ambassador in Athens, it's like whitewater rafting. Most of the time you try to stay upright, right side up. Sometimes you hit rocks. Sometimes you're not the right side up. But at the end of the day, when you reach the base camp and the little bus picks you up, you say, well, that was great. And you feel a sense of accomplishment. I hope I will feel such a sense when my tour is done here.
Ambassador, thank you very much.
Thank you.